Fest Flyers, and welcome to the FMS G Suite for Education SBCT course series. I'm going to be taking you through a quick overview of how Canvas Learning Management System works. So those of you that are uncomfortable with Canvas or are novices to it will be able to easily navigate the system. What you're taking a look at right now is a screenshot of what you as the student are able to see. So you may have noticed all the way at the bottom of the screen there's a pink bar saying that this is the student view. I'm going to be showing you the student view, and I'll be taking you as well to a different window. So if you see the window change, I'll let you know what's happening there. But again, this is just a quick overview of Canvas Learning Management System and how you're going to go about navigating this course over the next 10 weeks of SBCT. So what you're looking at right now is the actual specific course that you folks are assigned to. All the way on the left-hand side of your web screen, you're going to see this gray navigation column. And this navigation column is probably something you folks won't really touch that much, but I do want you to be aware of it. If you were to go ahead and select that dashboard queue, that's going to bring you to the Canvas dashboard. Currently, I can't see it in student view, but if you were to select that dashboard icon, it'll take you to how many courses you are currently logged in. So you would see a tile of our G Suite for Education course. And since most of you have probably just built this Canvas course, you're only going to see one tile there, really similar to those of you that have been using Google Classroom before. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to courses. And we are, again, looking at G Suite for Education. And we have a few navigation cues to the right of this gray bar. These are the areas that you folks have access to and can take a look at. So the Home button and the Modules button is actually one and the same. Home and Modules have been set to do the same exact thing. So if you were to select either one, same view. Now the modules themselves have been locked, and you will see through all of the modules that are listed a series of unlocked dates. So these unlocked dates are corresponding with the SBCT days in which we're meeting and we're collaborating. So all of them will open up at midnight on the date of SBCT, and the activities, you'll have a 48-hour time frame in which to complete them. So these activities themselves, or these modules themselves, are designed to be completed within the 30-minute time allotment that we have. And not only are these assignments meant to be something that you do as an individual, there's a lot of activities that you have to collaborate with your PLC. What I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to go ahead and leave the student view so I can show you the introduction to the course piece. So I'm leaving the student view right now, and what you're going to be seeing is how this will look when these modules unlock. So the moment that you go ahead and enter G Suite, our very first series is the introduction to the course. And you have something called the course scope and initial directives. So this page is just giving you a heads up of what exactly this piece is. As well, here's the video that I'm going through so you folks are used to it and you know how Canvas LMS really works for you. And the first piece that you have to tackle on the 14th is something called the pre-test survey. Really simple, really easy, and it is located in the quizzes section. Good practice for me, something that I like to do, is I always like to select Home or Modules and work my way down from the top to the next step and the next step. Some of you might choose to do this a little bit differently because you can, for instance, select quizzes from a quizzes section, assignments from an assignment section, so on and so forth. So this pre-test, very simple. You'll be seeing something similar at the very end of our SBCT series as well. Again, the view that you see is the teacher's view. So this piece is going to look a little bit different at the student view, but you would complete this survey, 15 questions, very simple, very easy, not a tricky task at all. I'm going to go ahead and head back home. So once again, these modules are set to unlock on the SBCT dates. And the way that the modules work, very quickly, is you have a set of directions and then activities or readings or discussions that follow. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly open up Module 1, Week 2 directions. So the directions are going to explain to you what it is that you are going to be tackling, essentially your objective, and what activities you're going to be taking a look at. So for this week, you'd be looking at NEPF and NVAC documents. You'd pick one of the articles listed, and it looks like you're composing a 2-paragraph review. Not something super lengthy. Again, it needs to be completed in a 30-minute time frame, and it's designed as such. Now, if you prefer, you can go ahead and select the next button, and that would bring you to activity 1. Or, again, this is just my practice. I'm going to go ahead and select home or modules, doesn't matter which one because they are in one and the same, and I'd go ahead and open up each activity one at a time. So activity 1 is the first piece that I take a look at, and these are links that you would go ahead and open up, these blue hyperlinks. This one, I'm not submitting anything to, or this activity I should say. Activity 2 for module 1 is reading. This is where, again, you're going to find those links that were listed on the directions page. And the last activity is the writing component. Now, this is where things get a little bit more involved. So for this particular piece, you would end up completing a 2-paragraph review of what it was that you had read. And what you're going to see is a rubric. Is it something that you're going to be graded on? My goodness, no. But this is just an idea of how an online learning management system could work and how it can work. It might be something that you, in fact, try and take a bite out of and do for yourself. So going back to our home page, you'll see that this module with directions listed first and activities following is pretty consistent. So module 2, our activity does change to something called a discussion. And I do want to take a moment and walk you through what exactly is a discussion. So this screen is going to change. Here we go. This is an example of a discussion, and I'll make sure that there are extra postings to help you folks along for those of you that are brand new to Canvas LMS. This is an example of a discussion, and the idea behind a discussion in the directives listed on the opposite page is that you are going to be posting a response to a question posed to you. Not only that, you're going to respond to one of your PLC members. So the way that these work is very simple. What you would go ahead and do is you would select the reply button, and a window below would pop up for you to go ahead and answer your question or questions, depending on what the discussion exactly is. Now, in order to go ahead and to reply to a peer, there's a couple ways you could go about it. If you wanted to, you could take the time to scroll through the entire feed, to find your PLC member, but I'm going to tell you right now that's going to be a waste of your time. What you could do is you can actually, in this search entries or author bar that's listed directly below the actual post question, you could type in your PLC member's first or last name, and it will go ahead and pull up that particular PLC member's response so that you can reply to it easily. So this is an example of Joe Rogers. If Joe Rogers was a PLC member, you could go ahead, hit the reply link that's listed right below his post, and you could go ahead and make that post as well. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to our module series. Just a few more areas that I wanted to point out to you. You're going to see in certain modules that there are optional activities. Optional means you don't have to do it. Optional also means there is some value here as well. So the optional activities, once again, they're not something that you have to do. The reason why I've listed them as optional, it's going to take more than the allotted 30 minutes of our SBCT. But again, there is value there, and it is worth just taking a look at. It's not something that you necessarily have to submit, but I wanted to make sure that you folks were aware of that. So again, here's our modules going down, pulling down, and this is a 10-week SBCT. So you're going to have a total of 9 modules. And at the end of our 9th module, you'll take a final survey. I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way back to the top one more time. And I do want to show you the additional areas that you can select and you can open once modules start unlocking. So if you were to go ahead and select the quizzes link, it will go ahead and show for you, once they are unlocked, each one of the surveys that you'll be taking. So you will see a due date, you will see when the piece is available. Assignments is the same thing. You can go ahead and see each of those assignments as they are unlocked to you. And for some folks, they like to see the layout of assignments instead of seeing them as modules. So if this is something that you wanted to look at instead, you could go ahead and easily do that. And same thing for discussions. Once discussions unlock, they'll also pull up in this particular tab. And if it's something that you want to take a look at, you can. And it still seems to be trying to retrieve these items. I'm not going to go ahead and wait for it. I'm actually going to go right back home. So for accountability's sake, because we're able to complete these tasks online, because we don't necessarily have to be seated right next to our PLC member to get the tasks completed, there is accountability as a part of this online learning experience. So in almost every module, there's only 2 modules that do not have any activities to submit. The additional 8 modules that are listed, there is something that has to be submitted. And yes, there are due dates for these modules. And yes, they will lock if they are not completed. So this is a very simple, very quick overview of how Canvas works. I am 100% at your disposal if you need any help whatsoever. One more time for our sake, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly go back to Student View. So once again, if you see that a module is grayed out, it is letting you know that that module is locked until that open date. I'm hoping that this makes things a little bit easier to swallow and you don't feel too overwhelmed while we are preparing and completing this SBCT training series. Again, if you have any questions about Canvas, please don't hesitate to contact me or let me know how I can be of assistance to you and to your PLC. I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I hope you folks have an enjoyable experience with this SBCT series. Thanks so much.